know, even people who might necessarily fully agree with you on everything in politics, and you write down this list, you make this list, and you call them on the phone. You ask them one simple question, and it depends, how much you know about the political persuasion of the person calling, but today's will be more or less like this. Hi, Joe, it's Adam. I know we haven't spoken in a while. We have an election in Michigan coming up tomorrow. Just wanted to see whether you'd be casting your ballot for the phony conservative Rick Santorum or the phony conservative or the true all the information they need to vote for Dr. Paul on election day. Now, if they're undecided, make sure that you give them the information they need to make the right choice. And that means listening to them and reaching out and showing them how Ron Paul is dependent on the issues that matter to them. And if you happen to hear something along the lines of, well, there's this important contest between Mitt Romney and Rick Santorum going on here in Michigan County. You have that person to point out there's not really a dime's worth of difference between the two candidates, and it really doesn't matter which one of them might win Michigan. All it really matters is whether or not Dr. Paul is winning delegates out of Michigan, and that if they believe in the Constitution and believe in liberty, they should be voting for Dr. Paul on election day. Democrat, they want to vote for Rick Santorum just because they think it's nice for the sake of Michigan. And they remind them that a vote for Rick Santorum fundamentally is a vote for Rick Santorum, and they should be careful what they wish for, because we never know. Okay, well anyway, thank you so much for being here. Now that we have all those important announcements out of the way, I'm really proud to have for this program that we have tonight. We've done 5 campaign appearances in Michigan in the past 3 days, each one really focusing on one aspect of Dr. Paul and his candidacy that really show that he is truly the people's choice for this country to compete with Barack Obama and prevail on election day, November 2012. That's been a rally for soldiers, airmen, and sailors for Ron Paul. On Saturday night, that was a rally for small business owners for Ron Paul. On Sunday night, that was 2 rallies today. One was at Michigan State University, a little place reminder that if you're under 40, chances are you're voting for Ron Paul, and that's so important if you're trying to run against the president. And we had a special event in Little Rock Baptist Church in University of Detroit tonight. And I guess Reverend Holly really put it best as to why we did this. He said, "Why don't more people come to Inner City Detroit?" And that's an important point, I think. I think it's important that Dr. Paul shows that he's someone who truly a man of the people. But now tonight we have a very special presentation. This is Doctors for Dr. Paul. So here to tell us more, please welcome Dr. Hussein Sagir.
It's really a great honor to have so many people here tonight. For Doctors for Dr. Ron Paul. Let's give the doctors a round of applause. And there are probably 10 to 100 doctors here, so I'd like to just have them stand up really quickly, just so we know who the doctors in the house are, and medical students. Please. Before I introduce Dr. Ron Paul, I have a special guest for us tonight, just to send his greetings, just from the Arab American community, and that's the publisher of the Arab American News, Osama Sablani. Please welcome him.
Thank you, Dr. Sagir. And thanks to all the doctors that are here. Did they stand up already?
Yes.
Okay. And thank all of you for coming on such a cold night to make this the best and the warmest campaign in Michigan. And thank you, ASU, the Arab Student Union, and the University of Michigan for doing such a wonderful job. The Arab American News came on Friday, endorsing Dr. Ron Paul for governor. Arabic and English, because we believe that Dr. Paul brings to this campaign sense, sanity, and sincerity. He is the only candidate that brings us together while others are dividing us apart. He is a candidate that cares about America and enough they care about themselves. To talk about who we were going to endorse, the question was good. Ron Paul. We're not here as Arab Americans, we're here as Americans. That's why we stand today, all of us together for a good America, for the best America, for Ron Paul for president. As you know, elections we do not win an election by becoming only emotional. Elections are won by votes and money. Are we going to vote tomorrow for Ron Paul?
Thank you very much, Osama. That was a really exhilarating. It's really a great honor to be among so many freedom-loving individuals who are here tonight, united for the cause of liberty. My name is Hussein Sagir, and I'm a fourth-year medical student at Michigan State University. Cause of Oxford. And on behalf of the Arab Student Union at the University of Michigan Dearborn, I'd like to welcome you tonight. I'd like to ask the members and the volunteers in the crowd to stand up and be acknowledged, because really it was their hard work as foot soldiers in the cause for liberty that made this event possible tonight. I'm currently doing my rotations in the Henry Ford Health System, where Dr. Ron Paul did his internship in 1962. He served as a flight surgeon in the U.S. Air Force. Throughout his career, he delivered over 4,000 babies and continued to work even as a congressman, something that's not common these days from our congressmen and politicians. He opted to treat Medicaid and Medicare patients for free or at a severely lowered cost. Now, I think the name of tonight's event, Doctors for Dr. Ron Paul, is really appropriate because our republic is ill and is in need of the caring hands of a man who has sworn to restore liberty. Our politicians, both Republican and Democrat, are addicted to spending our nation's treasure on foreign wars and expanding the military-industrial complex. Just a few nights ago, Rick Santorum basically boasted that he's been working for the past 8 years to promote a war with the country of Iran. At a time of mass propaganda and hysterical declarations from our politicians, what we need is a man who refuses to mislead America into another failed war, because he understands the ramifications are too great for the people of this country. I supported Ron Paul because he's the only candidate with a responsible domestic policy. His support for civil liberties is really a breath of fresh air from the increasingly authoritarian and fascist rhetoric and legislation we have seen from our politicians. He is the only candidate who has stood up against the debasement of our currency, because our politicians in Washington don't care about the prospects of a viable middle class, and they don't understand that that's destroying the chances of an economic recovery in the United States.
Yeah.
You see a lot of the youth out today, and that's because Dr. Ron Paul is the only one standing up against this severe debt, and at the end of the day, he realizes that it's us, the youth, that are going to pay it. And so that's why so much of the youth is out here, and so much of the youth votes for Dr. Ron Paul every single election that we've seen, every single primary election. And you know, a lot of the youth voted for President Obama, but they become disenchanted. And you know, a lot of them have become disenchanted with President Obama, given his failure to fulfill his promises to close Guantanamo Bay, end the wars, and repeal the Patriot Act. Instead, we are given a continuation of the Bush policies and the NDAA, which allows the U.S. military to detain, arrest, and interrogate U.S. citizens and legal residents without trial under the pretext of counterterrorism. The President has declared the authority to order extrajudicial assassinations of American citizens. And Ron Paul is the only candidate who has opposed these outrageous violations of our Constitution. And he really transcends the two-party system. And that's why so many Democrats and independents are out here tonight. So before I introduce him, let me just ask you a few questions. Are you sick of the useless perpetuation of war and America's burden of being the policeman of the world?
Amen.
Are you sick of the armchair generals deciding when and where our troops will go and die and for what corporations? Are you sick of the Patriot Act, NDAA, and expansion of the police state because you realize those who sacrifice their freedom for security will have neither? Are you sick of being forced to choose between being smacked by the right hand and smacked by the left hand every 4 years because you realize those who stand for nothing will fall for anything in Washington? Are you sick of the warmongering mainstream media?
Yes.
Doesn't exist, even though he's the most capable and qualified candidate? And finally, are you sick of the Federal Reserve printing If so, then please help me in welcoming the only man who can cure this sickness, Dr. Ron Paul.
I don't know if I have to give a speech. He did such a good job. I'll give you my 2 cents worth anyway. But I do want to introduce my wife of 55 years, Carol. Linda's with us.